The three things I'm going to talk about today change everything. And I really love this morning on the Loan Officer Breakfast Club. Such a great, by the way, if you're not going to Loan Officer Breakfast Club, it's loanofficerbreakfastclub.com. Fill out your name, couple pieces of information. I'll give you the Zoom link every morning, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 9 a.m. Eastern. Hundreds of loan officers jump on a Zoom call. And this morning, we were talking about the three things that change everything. And I absolutely love it because I just wanted to jump on a podcast and just share with you guys, my loan officer leadership community, what these three things are and why it's so important to really be hyper focused on them. And look, as we're getting into it, wherever you're consuming content, would you, hey, do me a favor? Would you review the podcast? Would you go in and tell us how this podcast is making an impact in your life? And then once you do that, share it with somebody else, another loan officer that this would help them in what they're doing. And so, what I want to talk about are the three things, in my opinion, that change everything. And we talked about it on the Breakfast Club this morning, and it goes back to this. I wonder how many times, how many days you really feel like, man, there's really two ways it happens. Sometimes you feel like, man, I'm running my business like a champ, like my business is on autopilot, like I literally have a machine that works on my behalf. But I wonder how many people would wake up and say, man, it just feels like I'm being run by my business. Like literally, I get in and it's firefighting this, and this came up. I was talking to a great loan officer yesterday, and she said, man, I got 4 loans that are not going to hit their closing date. I just found out about it, and we're a week away from closing, and it's chaos to this and fire to that, and underwriter suspends this, and the appraisal comes in low on this, and we're a few days away from closing, and we're not clear to close. And it's like this. I'm not running a business. The business is running me. And, part of what it is, I think about a couple of things that we got to do. And really, I'm going to share three things that I really believe change everything. Um, and I'm going to talk about it in the masterclass. I do a masterclass each month, and this month it's newmmamasterclass.com. We'll drop the link in the show notes, newmmamasterclass.com. But I've got one that's coming up literally this next week, and I'm going to be talking about what is it in more detail. And I thought, you know what, I want to share a little bit of it today, and then pick up the rest of it in this next masterclass. And here's the thing, you how do I build a predictable income business that runs without me being in the middle of it? And what we want to do is we want to identify a couple of things. My first thoughts were this: you got to have a clear daily plan. And a clear daily plan says, I know who to call, I know what to say, I know how many conversations I need to have every day, with a clear ask for the business, or clear call to action is what we call it. So every call has a purpose. And three things that change everything is, number one, you got to have a plan. Who are you calling on Mondays? Who are we calling on Tuesdays? Who are we calling on Wednesdays? Who are we calling on Thursday? And more than just having a plan, here's what part of that first segment is. And we go through this at great length in the 8-week boot camp I do. And but here's what we do is, you got to build a livable calendar, because my livable calendar helps me hyper focus on what moves the needle the most. So yes, you may have fires. Yes, you may have things that pop up in the middle of the day, but if I've got a center around these 2 hours of activity, never change every single day. And even if the business blows up, I just have to text, I'm in a meeting for the next hour and a half, and I'll call you as soon as I'm done. And when you have a clear plan, it changes everything. A clear plan, and we've been talking a lot about this too. I just got off a call with a bunch of my loan officers here in the network, and we were just talking about stewarding a decision. When I have a clear plan that produces a predictable result, and it's not guesswork, I'm not wondering what moves the needle. Man, I spent 20 plus years trying to figure it out. Well, now we know the data, what moves the needle, and we know what actually gets actual results, not busy work, but results. And when I have a clear plan that is calendared in a livable way, then all I've got to do is steward a decision. And so part of, I loved it. We had Teresa on the Breakfast Club. She's a part of my boot camp. And last week it was such a great week for her because she's building her pipeline and building the consistency. And she said, Steve, for the first time, I know exactly how many calls I have to make every day to have my 13 to 15 conversations a day. And you know what? I literally jumped out of my seat. I'm like, yes, that's it. Like that tells me there's no more ambiguity. There's no more guesswork. There's no more, oh, did I do enough today? I used to have this sign on my light socket when I'd go out my light switches in my office, and it would say, I did my best and my best was good enough. Well, it's hard to say that when you don't know what your number is and you don't have a clear plan and you don't know what's the activity that moves the needle. But that's what we've got to do is we've got to be clear on what got you your last 5 transactions and what activity did you do to get those and where is that calendared in your day so that even if the business burns down, that gets done. Number one, you got to have a clear plan. Hey, and listen, I'm going to go into more detail on the masterclass. It's newmmamasterclass.com. Register for it and jump in, and I'm going to help you build a dashboard. And then also, we do the 8-week boot camp. And I'm so convinced that most people need an 8-week launch. It's like I'm struggling with accountability. I'm struggling with consistency. I'm struggling with knowing exactly what moves the needle to hit my goal of fundings every single month. And that's something you got to have people in and around your life helping you. Number 2 was this. So first one is we got to build a clear daily plan. And by the way, if you want to know more about the boot camp, go to freedomplanningcall.com. You'll fill out your name, information, schedule a call, and then Kristen, one of our team members, will jump on and give you details about the 8-week boot camp. And I've got one launching here in just a couple of weeks. But here's the next thing. So I got a clear daily plan. The second thing I got to do is I got to have consistent tracking. And I think this is where a lot of people miss it. And remember, we're talking about the 3 things that change, like it changes everything. When I have a plan and I've made a decision, now I just steward the decision. I don't wake up and say, hey, I wonder what I'm doing. My calendar tells me what I'm doing because I know if I do this, I'll get this result. And I'm 100% committed. I always say this, there's no way out, only a way through. Second thing is this, I've got to have consistent tracking. And one of the things that we really hyper focus on, and there's only about 5 things you really need to track. And sure, could there be 22 things? Yes, but I got to tell you, I'm real simple in that. Too many things overwhelms me. I just need, what do I need to know every day? And one of the things we do is we'll help you build a dashboard. Like in the boot camp, I spend time on this. Like, what is your number and what are we tracking? And here's the 5 things you got to track. How many call stars are you attending? And for us inside of the membership at the Marketing Animals, we have hundreds of people that'll jump on a Zoom call from 9:30 to 11:30 East Coast, 9 to 11 West Coast. And for 2 hours, we make outbound calls to strategic people, not cold calls, warm calls that need to be made anyway. So it's like the people that are in process, the past client database, the pre-approved and looking, the agent partners you've already got relationships with. And what happens is when I'm doing this activity, I got to track it. Number one, how many 2-hour outbound sessions did I have during the week? We call that call stars. Number 2, how many outbound calls did I make today? Like, are you making enough outbound calls? Because somebody who says, hey, I made 2 outbound calls and they're working to get to 8 or 10 fundings consistently a month, my question would be, and this is a real question, is it enough activity to get you to your desired result? Number 3, you got to have not only outbound calls, but how many conversations? Hey there, if you're loving the tips so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss out on more cool free tips coming your way. I'd also love to hear from you. Make sure to drop a comment below and let me know what you think, or what it is you want to see next. And we'll see you on the inside. See you. And here's a big one too. And this is the one that has been a game changer for most loan officers this year. How many times did you ask for the business? Are you asking for the business? Hey, I had a great conversation, but I forgot to ask. Well, if we're not tracking it, we're not knowing if we did enough of the right activity. And that's where it's this up and down. And it's like, oh my gosh, man, I think I'm doing a lot. I'm busy, 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 closing 3 to 5 units a month, but I can't break through. I closed 7 last month, and next month I closed 2. I don't know why I'm on this roller coaster, because there's not a tight enough tracking to see if the activity I did today and this week will move the needle for the next 60, 90 days. Because here's what I know: what I'm funding today is what I did 90 days ago. What I'm doing today is what I'll fund over the next 60 to 90 days. So, number one is a clear daily plan. Number two, we got to have effective, consistent tracking. The 5 things: how many call stars did you attend? How many outbound calls did you make? How many talk tos? How many times did you ask for the business? Number 5 is how many leads did you get? And look, I'm making all these calls, but I'm not getting leads. There's a problem. It's either an anomaly, or maybe you're making the calls and not asking for the business. Or maybe you're asking for the business with people who don't have the ability to give you the business. True story. I was working with a loan officer, and she was celebrating. Oh yeah, I got this realtor, old friend realtor, gave her a relational referral. That referral closed literally like 2.5, 3 weeks ago. And I said, that's awesome. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to keep going after this realtor. And then I said, but hey, look, let's do this. How many buy side transactions has he had in the last 2 years? And guess what? Listen to this, everybody. She went and looked up his numbers. He had closed 0 buy side transactions in 2 years. This happened to be the one transaction he tripped into. Now, luckily, he did get another lead this last week. But what I told her is, I said, here's the challenge. If you don't recognize his activity and what he's actually closing, you're going to call him this week and next week and follow up. And in week 5 and 6, he's frustrated. You feel like it doesn't work and you're defeated. And the truth is, he's not qualified. He doesn't have enough business to get. But if you're not tracking, you can't even assess or do a self assessment or have us help you assess where you're at on the growth map, because you're not even tracking the activity that actually moves the needle or will predict what your income will be in 60, 90 days. And here's number 3. And these are the things that I believe change everything. Number 3, you got to let go of the hero role. Um, and you say, hey, Steve, what do you mean by the hero role? Uh, all roads lead to you. I was talking to somebody this morning, and we had a great conversation. He said, Steve, when you said that on Breakfast Club this morning, it just resonated with me. He's a great loan officer. Barry and I were talking, and he said, you know what? Even yesterday, something needed, like there was an additional underwriter condition that was added to a file. And instead of letting my processor go and challenge the additional condition, I just jumped right in, found it, pushed it out. And I totally stepped in instead of just allowing my team, who's competent and capable, to do it. And he said, you know what? When you said letting go of the hero role, what I realize is I would rather do it now to get it done than give my team the appropriate amount of time to let them do it. And he said, I realize it's a big part of what's getting in the way. It's a challenge, because what I tend to do is just step right in. And instead of prospecting or building relationships or going after even more, I've now spent this hour helping the processor who could have got it done. And I think in order to change everything, we have to have a clear plan. And I can tell you this, now more than ever, your plan will determine your results. Number 2, you got to have consistent, effective tracking. And I don't care if you put it on an Excel sheet, you put it on a notepad, you just got to be able to say, I made 200 outbound calls, I had 80 conversations, I asked for the business 65 times, and I got 10 leads. Like, at least be able to know what activity I did, because then it's what I call a truth serum. I can't lie to myself and say, well, I don't know why the business isn't here. Well, let's look at your activity. Based on what you've actually tracked, it's accurate. And so I want to encourage you, if you want to dive deeper into this, I'm doing a master class, and it's new MMA masterclass. It's open to everybody, not even non-members. It's 100% free. And I'm going to break it down for about an hour. What are the things very tactically you can do to build a plan, to understand the tracking and how to do it effectively, and how to learn how to let go of the busy work and focus on what really moves the needle. NewMMAmasterclass.com. Hey, and I want to do one more thing too. Some of you, you recognize I need some help. I need a coach. I need somebody who can look. I talk about this so much, man. It took me 17 years to break through $100 million in personal production. And what was crazy is this, then within a very short order, We within less than 2.5 years after starting over, we did it again. And here's what I learned. The first time was an anomaly. The second time, I was able to dissect the process and the plan and the what we're doing every day. And you know what really happened for me was in year like probably I don't know year I don't know 10. I started getting coaching and I started being around other people that were further and masterminding and doing master classes and doing some coaching and some intensity work. Because here's what I learned. Coaching is about acceleration. You're already going to be successful. The question is, what if you could get there faster? What if instead of taking 3, 5, 7, 10 years, you could do it in 3, 5, 7, 10 months? And when you're working with somebody who can see some of the areas, look, you don't need it's not, I used to think, oh, it's the biggest tweaks that make the biggest difference, but it's not. It's actually the smallest tweaks make the greatest impact. And even like in tracking, sometimes it's like I'm making a lot of calls, but I'm not getting results. Well, what we can do is help you understand, are you asking for the business? Well, yeah, I'm still not getting results. Well, how are you asking for the business? And it's like you keep dialing it in this little micro section faster and tighter and a little bit more snug. And what happens is now we start seeing exponential results because we're dialing it in super effectively. So, hey, if you're interested in the boot camp, I've got one launching. I think there's a handful of spots left. Here in the next few weeks, go to freedomplanningcall.com and you'll just put in your first name, last name, email, cell phone, and hit submit. And I think there's a question like, hey, what's your current production and challenge? And then hit submit, and it'll take you to literally the calendar. You book a time that works best for you, and we'll jump on a call and I'll walk you, me, Kristen, somebody on the team will walk you through, here's where you're at in the freedom map. Are you right now in a place where you feel like, dude, I'm just surviving, I'm in survival mode? Are you in a place where you're stabilizing a little bit? So there's 5 areas. It's survival mode, stabilizing mode, structure mode. That's where you start closing 8 to 18 loans a month because your structure's building a predictable business. Are you scaling 18 plus loans a month? And now I need help with my time. I don't, I've got to find a way to say no to some of the things I'm saying yes to. And then legacy is where you got a business that runs without you. And survival, you're 0 to 4. Stabilize, you're 4 to 8 loans a month. Structure, 8 to 18. Scaling is where you're breaking past 18 loans a month, and legacy, it just runs without you. And we'll help you with that. We'll identify where you're at in the growth plan and see if the boot camp's right for you. If not, we got a great, membership through Jumpstart. Maybe that's an 8-week intensive that would really help you reset. Freedom Planning Call, go to that. Go to the master class. We've got great resources to help you continue to win in today's marketplace. Hey, also, as we wrap up, just remember, go give a review. Tell us how we're impacting your life. If you tag me on social, Steve_Kyles, I'd love to share your post. And just, you can always tag me on that. So happy to do it. Make sure you're subscribed so you get it when the next episode comes out. And can't wait to continue to see your massive success. Remember this. Anything worth doing is worth doing badly. Just get started. See ya.